Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Besson, good to see you again. Thanks for the time in the office to be able to talk through a lot of these details as well. I was interested to be able to hear your statistic you shared earlier that after the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017, now we've had several years to be able to see what happens. And now I believe the statistic you gave is the top 50% of earners in America now pay 98% of the taxes. Did I hear that correctly? Because I've heard over and over again that it is only the wealthy, only the big companies that get it. I would encourage, quite frankly, every Oklahoma company that's a small business to ask their CPA this year when they're filing their taxes, what if the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act expires next year? What would my taxes be next year? And have small business owners ask that question of their CPA, and I think they will be quite surprised based on all the rhetoric to say this is only about big companies and wealthy people, that every small business will quickly find out, oh, it's them as well. It'd be the same thing on the child tax credit. If Tax Cuts and Jobs Act goes away, it gets cut in half in the child tax credit, and all the inversions that were happening under the Obama administration where American companies were being bought up by foreign entities, now that's actually switched. Now American companies are buying foreign companies and those jobs are coming here. So there's been a tremendous amount of benefit in that. The one challenge that we've had on this committee has been a conversation with Janet Yellen about Pillar 2. And it started really 4 years ago now, 3 years ago, where the conversation was about, well, we really don't need Congress to act on this. We feel like we can do unilaterally. We can change America's tax policy for all businesses in America. And now in the last year, they've shifted to say, well, we're going to have to come back to you at some point to be able to get this. In the meantime, a deal has been negotiated that literally helps European countries and hurts the United States on this. And they negotiated a deal that exempts China from being affected by this at all. My question to you is, are you going to engage on this issue of Pillar 2? Number one, have this committee involved in writing taxes, which seems to be consistent with the Constitution. And then what is your message to other countries if they try to implement Pillar 2 on American businesses?
Thank you, Senator. As we discussed in your office, Senator Lankford, that I believe that any, especially European country, but any country that in the next few days before President Trump takes office is intent on implementing Pillar 2 will find it a grave mistake. That the taxation of U.S. companies is a sovereign issue, and that authority lies with this Congress, and I will respect that. I will work with you to undo what I think has been a terrible policy.
Yeah, which I would agree, and many members in this committee would agree, that not only they went around Congress violating the Constitution, but it deliberately hurt American companies. And I just think that's really terrible policy on it. It truly was America Last policy. On the energy side, you've talked a lot about energy production. I'm Oklahoma, and unashamedly, we're all the above and all the below energy. We probably have more wind and hydro and solar production in my state than any other state on this dais, with very few exceptions, but we also use oil and gas. And we're going to produce all the energy that our state needs to be able to make sure that we stay stable on that. One of the issues that is a business issue for small or large businesses that I've been fighting for is a stable bonus depreciation amount. This is not about the type of energy or the type of business even. It's if you're actually investing in your company and trying to grow your company, that you would know what that bonus depreciation. Now, this will help with pipeline productions, but it will also help a pet shop and a hair salon and a restaurant just as much as well. And so thoughts on bonus depreciation and just a stable rate for that?
So, Senator Lankford, you're referring to the 100% immediate?
Yes, what has been in the past, but for, quite frankly, a stable rate, period. Right now we have a diminishing rate that's unpredictable.
Yes, so I think that increasing the after-tax return on capital for U.S. companies, especially small business, is one of the greatest forms of job creation that we could see. Yeah. And to go back to your point on energy production, we've heard much here today saying that we are at a record amount of energy production, and we know that's a canard. We are barely above where we were in 2020, and if we were to look at the Department of Energy projections for 2024 and 2025, we are well below those. The past 4 years, we have seen U.S. production constrained, And part of a fulsome sanctions program would mean that we need more energy production in the U.S. to make up for the loss of sanctioned Russian oil to protect the U.S. consumer.
Right, which is American jobs, which is American income, which one of the things we're going to have to deal with is the intangible drilling cost punishment that was actually put on all the independent oil and gas companies in my state and everywhere else that drives up the cost for consumers as well. That's another issue that this committee needs to take on. Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Thank you.